Right. This is an instructional guide for the written tasks for the English A2 program. There are two different written tasks which have to be done. One is on a literary option and one is on a cultural option. The one done on a literary option must be taken, the idea must be taken from one of the books studied in the program, and you should adapt or create something from one of the texts which is not already found. For example, a lot of people might do a death certificate or some type of publication, some type of written document. There's three different areas of communication that this written document can come from. It could be a poetic communication, which is not only restricted to poems, right, or songs, but a more ample aspect of the poetic communication than the genre itself. It could also be a cartoon. It could also be a personal letter or something of that nature. So there's poetic communication. Mass communication would be like a magazine article or a newspaper article, a speech, or it could be a professional communication. This would be a written document which would be taken from some sort of job. For example, a report, a written report written by a professional, like an economist or something like that, right? The other written task would be from a cultural option. It must be taken from the topics taught during the cultural options of the program. So for example, mass communication would be a cultural option that could be taught. In this you would learn about the different strategies of advertising and marketing and things like that. The students would have to take topics from what was taught in class, and once again you'd have the same three communications, the same three areas of communication to use: poetic, mass, and professional. Both written tasks have to combine to a total of 1,500 words, right? So you would have to plan ahead. When you do written task 1, you have to pay attention and kind of plan what you're going to do for written task 2 also, in order to combine for a maximum of 1,500 words with both tasks combined. There's also a lot of formal documentation that needs to be done. The grading criteria is, criterion A is the rationale form, which is part of this formal documentation. You would have to explain what you did and fill out the IB form as per IB instructions. That's criterion A, they evaluate according to that. Criterion B is the task and content, the quality of the ideas and the presentation and all that. While criterion C is the use of language. Not just grammatically speaking, but also if you are telling me that you're supposed to be a lawyer and you're producing a legal document from the professional area of communication, you would have to speak as a lawyer, using legal terminology, using the vocabulary which is supposed to be used. So some tips: create good plans, right? Make sure you create outlines and plan your work very well. Make sure you know the assessment criteria and you comply with what the IB expects you to do. And basically go through the checklist, because that's what the IB evaluators do. Did they do this? Yes. Did they do this? Yes. Did they do this? No? All right. To what level, right? What grade should they get? How many points according to the evaluation criteria? So it's basically just knowing the assessment criteria, planning your work very well, and making sure that you are complying with all of the requirements that the IB has already stipulated.